So I don't think we have too much to worry as long as we stay on the ball that way.
I need to get my bills through before I get my kid.
Yeah. So, in those matter. But we do have to worry about placing our own district here. That the federal government is preventing it. Well, there's actually 2 spots going up. Right there and then Tombstone. They're preventing Tombstone from going up and getting that, fixing their water pipes that they've had for 100 and some odd years. And this is the federal government again. You know, I can recall, I'm paraphrasing, but in one of the constitutions that I carry, I don't know if it's in this one or another one, but they have footnotes of some of the old founders, their speeches and what they wrote. Well, Jefferson was writing in one, talking about how the courts, he's talking about the federal courts, will dig under the ground of liberty until it collapses and we all become one state. And I think that's what the federal government's expanding. I think that thought is expanded to the whole federal government, and that they're trying to do that is my feeling. Is just to make us one state where we are the United States. I don't know, it would be United States, but we'd have to call ourselves something else. But we're unique in the world, aren't we? Where we have 50 states that makes a country. Every other country is a state. That's the difference that we have. We want to make sure our states were bound together, but we had our own sovereignty to us. And if we could just have that back, we can run ourselves as needed here in this state without that interference from the federal government. Let them do what they're supposed to do, protect us from foreign entities that would come in and invade each state. Right? The states together, each one separate. So we have, well, we're going to go to questions. Yeah, we talk, right? Or because that's what the chairman wanted. So, yeah, but no, are we going to questions after where we have 3 of us come up, or do we want to?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we doing, Mr. Chairman?
I was going to open the question period for the legislators up to all 3 legislators at the same time. If there's no objection to that. If there's no objection, that's the way it'll be.
Right, okay. So, I guess we'll finish off and just go to questions. Looks like everybody just wants to do questions. How about that, Mr. Chairman? Does that sound good?
This is a question
All
period
right,
for all
let's just
3
go to questions.
legislators.
Because we have too many and I can't get up. But I think.
Okay, I want to say thank you for what you're doing. I really do appreciate all 3 of you, everything you do. I really, really do. And I appreciate the reports and everything. I have a question about how you are shutting down Obamacare and Janet Brewer and everything. Could you please help us?
The senator talked about a little earlier, there is no bill. There is nothing put forth in front of us. What we have to go on is what
We have that 2010.
the governor has spoken on in the state of the state. That's it. It's what you guys know, it's what we know. That's it. That's all we have. We're both in leadership and we've seen nothing come down into the leadership realm at all.
And the term assessment is used it purposely because any tax increase has to pass by a 2/3 majority.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so,
you're talking on the bed tax side now.
Yeah, we're calling it a 108. So they have to. It's not just a simple majority that'll pass anything. It'll be a 108 procedure, and I don't think they have the votes.
I don't think we have in the House, I have to tell you this is the truth, I don't believe we have the votes in the House right now to pass it without the 108. I don't think we have 31 right now. Do I think she can get to 31? She probably can once we weigh in later. You notice what the senator was talking about. We don't have a budget. This is unusual right now. We should have budget talks right now. We should be talking and negotiating, and nothing is happening. So it leads me to believe that that becomes a wedge issue. And I talked about it in Graham County yesterday about the TPT stuff. So that it's the redoing of our transaction produce tax, which is your sales tax, basically, if you don't know what TPT is. So we have something that the governor wants in 2 versions, and I don't know if she's holding us up on the budget because those 2 she wants. We're trying to figure all this out. There's nothing sitting there right now for us.
Is that not a House? Don't you guys not initiate and control that?
You would be correct that we we ought to be the initiator, and we did. We sent up our joint legislative budget council, which is both houses. We have the leadership put something together through our council. And what we've done is taken everything that we grew to, that we agreed on last year, with a little bit of growth, and sent it up to her, and we haven't heard back. And what we've known in the past with the governor is that we just can't send her a budget. She'll veto it right there and force us into a different direction. So we've learned with this governor, and that's the only governor I've been under, and that is we have to negotiate through what she wants to bring down to us as well, and then formulate a budget together. That's why there's no incentive from us.
And so, hopefully, I mean, at least that's one way, cutting that off with money, and you say you may not have the votes to do that, or?
Are you talking about the budget or the Medicaid expansion? The Medicaid expansion, right now, the leadership did a count and went through, I found there are a few people, maybe 3 that would get in right now. But we have 36, you need 31. I don't see 7 on board with the Medicaid expansion right now.
Go down. In other words, that would be voted down.
Yeah, I wouldn't even come to the floor like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, by 7, he means 24 Democrats are going to vote for this.
Yes.
She needs to get at least 7 Republicans.
And
we're not there yet.
Right, okay, that's fine.
And it's my understanding she doesn't want the Democrats plus 7. She wants to get a poll of the Republicans.
Yeah, right, yeah.
In the Senate, we're not so lucky because we have 4 squishies, what we call squishies. And if they vote with the Democrats. Now, one good thing that came this week, time to celebrate, one of our squishies will be resigning this year.
Is this 108 that you talked about, is that the proposition of 2010 or something?
No, this came back for 6 years ago. We had a proposition on the ballot that passed,
Right.
but we don't want to volunteer. So we're using that as a segue also.
Yeah, but you must know what one way is.
Well, the procedure is
Who's
a
about to?
supermajority.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because of
On
that
tax-
proposition, on taxation, we need a supermajority. We gotta have 40 and 20 before it can pass out. We're not gonna, so that nomination needs at least 60.
To raise taxes, fees, if we do it, we have to have 40 and 20 to do that. In both houses and in the governor's signature. What they're talking about here is because of the fee assessment with the bed tax, as we call it, they like to call it something pretty, but it's a fee. It's a fee structure, so it's a tax. So in that manner, the 108, we believe, the 3 of us here, that if we would attach to it, then we'd have to have 40, we'd have to have 20. I would tell you 40, if there's a 108 attached, and there are 40, you're not gonna get 16 of my members on my side. Just not. You may still get some senators, but you're not gonna get the 16 needed for the House side. There's no way.
Our legal counsel says it's a tax, so it's a one.
I have a question about the process that you all were going to go through in order to get our federal lands turned back over to the state of Arizona. You all were going to work on something, I think it was with the state of Utah.
Representative Wagner.
Last year, we had a bill that went to the governor, she vetoed it, and then we had a bill that went up. It didn't go to the governor because it just was sent out for us for the ballot. That was the first ballot, that was the one we shot down.
Are we doing it again? Are you trying to
We-
get it through again?
there-
It'll be next year's.
Yeah, there's nothing happening right now.
It'll be next year's. And the reason for that is because it was voted down because there wasn't any money or people didn't understand it. And so that'll give us a year, to get the word out, what it does, and show our maps. And in the meantime, our committee will be meeting in summer, all session. And we'll have actually from all 15 counties, how little private property we have in each county. 8% grant, 4% FEMA. Greeley is
In less than 13 for the whole state.
But it needs to be addressed more as not, I think, I've heard that people didn't vote for it because they thought it was I'm waiting for us to secede from the state rather than just state that we are a sovereign state. So we need to address that in the verbiage.
That's why we're not doing it
Right.
this year.
The verbiage just needs to be enhanced so that people understand.
Is federal government property owned? Do we get in lieu of taxes? from the
Yeah, it's called
Bill,
Oh, but, sequestration. Stop it.
Yes, it's hard.
Yeah.
they cut pills off anytime they
Yeah,
want to.
all Bill Pittman said, stop.
What?
And
What
bill
payments?
Bill payments, that's our
tax-
range.
Oh, payment.
Payments in lieu of taxes.
The federal
And
government
so-
doesn't pay taxes, but they give us a bill payment, and that's all been cut off.
Yeah, along with reduction in border patrol and reduction in this and reduction in that. And I read on the floor a letter from Ken Salazar, which is the Secretary of Interior, all the things that will be affected to include Grand Canyon National Park.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And the
What are you gonna do, fill it in so people won't go
Well,
there?
Abington who wanted to put the National Guard up there years ago.
I think that's all a play too. If they want to shut down, they want to shut down these public lands, the federal lands, that we have the parks and the monuments and such. And so they're gonna start trying to shut off roads because they say they can't maintain them because there's no money. Well, they've already been planning on doing that. This is just a vehicle to get there. There's probably gonna be a bill coming up here quickly. The sheriffs want it, DPS wants it, Game and Fish wants it. They want to take out a law that we have in the state that forces those entities to abide by federal laws that of police powers. So they want that forced back off of them so that they can go in and protect these regions at any point, even if it's a federal government. So
David, they'll have.
that's what's happening too.
Mine is a more general question. I know that these bills go in front of committees, both on the Senate and the House side. And I know I have access to something where I can comment on that particular bill. I don't know if everybody here knows that you can do just that as well. But does that have any value if it goes to committee?
Absolutely.
Okay, with that in mind, how do I know what bills go to committees on what days? Because I guess that comment section is open only for a very short time.
Well, you can get the agendas, our agendas have to be, the agendas have, in the Senate have to be posted 5 days before, but 2 days before the committee, we can add to the agenda or delete from the agenda. So
So-
2 days before the committee meets, you'll have a pretty updated agenda and what bills will be on that agenda.
Can that be signed up for, I guess would be the thing, to get
It's
these
online.
It's
You just look
online.
online and you look up the committee. If you go
So you gotta
online-
do it committee by committee, there's no.
If you go to the Arizona Legislature
Yeah.
committee, you look it up, go to each committee, hit it, and they'll have an agenda timeframe.
So basically, you have to look at each committee.
Yeah.
Well, the answer
I
to
had
the last
50
one is
people
yes.
signed up for one of my bills, one of the bills in my committee.
Well, I think we don't mind commenting favorably or unfavorably or whatever, but the thing is it's hard to know when those bills hit committees and get that out to all of us, so to speak.
We have that same problem.
Well, let me address that. What he's talking is request to speak, and one of the problems is to get your account, you have to go to Phoenix first, the capital, make your account, and then you can access it from home. That software is being looked at to be rewritten. I'm actually setting that committee up because it's horrible software. It was their attempt to get off the paper process. You go back to the 80s and 90s, you'd have to go to committee, write down your question or your comment to the chair, and then hand it to them and say, I want to speak on this bill. The chairman would be sitting there with a bunch of pieces of paper in their hand, trying to go through them. They finally decided, let's put it online so we can see everybody at one time and call them up. Well, that system is no longer good, and we're looking to fix that. The problem you got is, you would sign in on a bill in the committee, you couldn't see anybody else who'd signed in. We can, in the committee, as chair or committee members, see the whole list. So we're looking at making that public also, allow you to do your accounts from home. Hopefully, nothing's gonna happen this year, we're almost done with session. Hopefully by the time we start next January, the new software will be in place where you can sign up to have email notifications on anything we do. when a bill moves, you get notified. When an agenda comes out, you get notified if you want that. That's not there now. And that's not hard software to put in place.
This is the actual site I was referring to, and I know I can get here. When he's right about the username and password, I actually had to call Amy Grant.
You can call now and get registered.
Yeah, and you can get a username and password, and then you can get to this screen where you can actually make your comments on any particular bill that's in committee.
You used to have to go to the kiosk, but I got something on an email that says you can now call in and get.
Yeah,
Find out.
security-wise, that's not smart, and we're looking to fix all of that now. And the one problem we can't fix is, as chairman, we're going to committee, we're holding
But what's even more surprising?
like a radio show. So hopefully by the start of the next session, this will be more user-friendly. And allow more people to track what they want to track, what we're doing. Because sometimes this process is very fast. Thursday night, we did with the board committee of the holes. We thoroughbred those, and then we went to caucus again. We didn't get out of there until after 8 o'clock Thursday night, which is not typical for our work week. But when you keep that in crunch time, there's no time left. The process gets very fast. And if you're not allowed to be notified, because we didn't know until 1 o'clock that we were going to go to caucus at 7 that night. So I mean, we're kind of held hostage to that process also. So hopefully the software will be in a better state, and you'll have a better opportunity to keep track of what you want to keep track of.
Question?
I got a question for you fellows. Hit to the fire this time. It's true. Did you guys vote about increasing your salary and your retirement, something like that?
No.
No? I think that's better read on the paper somewhere.
There was nothing. This is my bill. It never got dropped. And actually, there's two things. Our retirement program just got killed in the House. We voted it out. So the elected retirement program will no longer, if it goes all the way through the process, will no longer exist. And we did that in the House. It's waiting in the Senate. The bill that we were working on was per diem, the living costs to go up there. Everybody, if you're a state employee, county employee, if you're required to travel for your job, you're provided cost for a hotel and food. That's what we get. We get $60 a day. 35 is for food, 25 is for lodging. In 30 days, we make $750 a month for lodging. When I rent a house, it's about $1,500 a month. But I gotta rent it for the whole year. I can't rent it for the 4 months. So I'm now paying $1,500 a month for 12 months or greater. So it could be as high as $18,000 a year.
Just so you know, the federal per diem level when we're in session is 191, and we're at 60.
We're at 60.
That's
Now,
drastic.
what we get to do is, we get to write off the difference. So $133 a day, I get to take off my taxes.
Wow.
Because, and that's for everybody who travels, they know that we should be getting that level, and we're not. So last year I wrote off my $24,000 salary. So I paid no state taxes on it. So if I got the per diem, I didn't have to pay taxes on my salary. It's more money from the state. And it's a volunteer program. The people that don't want it, that don't think they need it, say I opt out of it. But it keeps in line with what the other employees in the state and the feds are going under.
And by the way, you guys are the ones that vote on our salaries anyway. We can't do that. It
Our
would come to
salaries,
you on the ballot, and you would say yes or no. So there's no way we can increase
Yeah,
it.
I read the article, I think, Arizona Republic, I believe, so I don't know.
well, they're our friends.
Okay.
And that only, we only get $60 a day while we're in session. When we're out of session, we get 1 day a week per diem. So we may be at the Capitol 3 or 4 days, we get paid for 1 day.
Can we move on to the election and come back to, we can come back to our legislators if you'll let us during the general comments to the membership after we take care of business. Would that be okay? Okay. Thank you very much. And I do want to state that we have the best legislators in the state. We're very fortunate. Thank you very much. Okay, here's the business at hand. We've talked about it quite a bit. I want everybody to know that I only have the leadership that you give me, and it's okay to disagree with me, and I have no desire for a committee full of lemmings. So with that, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the resolution that Mr. Collins talked to us about before. This is not to vote on the resolution, this is to accept the resolution for discussion, which will be the next item. So I need, yes sir?
So moved.
Is there a second? Katie is a second. Thank you very much. Okay, is there discussion on the resolution? Does everybody have a copy of it that wants a copy of it? I guess everybody does, okay. Is there discussion? Mr. Jones from Cochise County.
The only question I have, because the Cochise County Republican Committee passed the very same resolution essentially Monday, I guess it was. In the last whereas, Sean, you changed the word access to Obamacare, the acronym AHC, blah, blah, blah. You changed that to Obamacare, is that right?
No, I apologize. It is
The last whereas.
It is indeed AHCCCS.
Okay, when you read it, you said Obamacare, and I just wondered why you had changed that, but you didn't. Okay, fine.
I apologize. Thank you.
Is there further discussion? Mr. Stevens.
I got a question, Mr. Collins. Did you change that to say access or AHA? Because access is a state-run program, and the Affordable Health Care Act is Obamacare.
What it reads, whereas
This says
Governor Brewer touts AHCCCS.
yeah.
That's correct.
What about the very last line? That's the one, Casey, you're talking about, right? Is the last line in support of Obamacare?
No, he was.
No, I said the last whereas, maybe I misheard him, but when he read it, he said Governor Brewer touts Obamacare as the conservative.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay,
I just wondered why, if it was that way, they had changed from access.
Okay.
No, that was totally my. I inadvertently substituted Obamacare for that.
That's right. I wasn't here.
We're in discussion.
Are there additional questions or comments?
We'll let her know, we'll come back down to that. So let's say I have discussion with everyone.
Mr. Chairman, committee, I make a motion at that bottom paragraph where it says the executive committee to change that to just the committee, which includes you folks, so that you'll have the opportunity of signing on the dotted line also, if you so desire. That's my motion.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to amend the resolution to delete the word executive in the last portion. So it'll just say, we, the committee of the Republican Legislative District LD-14, affirm and declare our opposition to the governor's plan to expand Medicare in support of Obamacare. And I heard, does everybody understand that amendment to the resolution? And there was a second? Okay, all in favor of that amendment to the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Are you opposed, sir?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm following your lead.
Okay.
Somebody said opposed.
All right, all right. Okay, now, the next thing that Mr. Carter mentioned is a vote on the resolution. Now that we accepted that amendment to the resolution to delete the word executive, a vote on the resolution by affirmative signature provided to the secretary. And if you care to read that as a motion, we'll wait for a second on that. Does that get, well, we can have discussion after he makes a motion.
Question?
Can it wait till after the motion? Is it about the motion?
It's about the motion. I
Wait,
just wanna
wait.
know, is a signature required?
We can talk about it in discussion.
By the committee?
Yeah, by the committee as a whole. I mean, I don't mind putting my signature on it, but if the signature is not necessarily required, and it comes from the legislative
Well,
district.
how about if we make the motion, get a second, and then we'll open it up for discussion? and we'll clarify it.
Motion that signatures not necessarily be required.
Well, he hadn't made his motion.
His motion.
Yeah, let's, let this motion go first. That could be part of discussion.
I'll make the motion, whatever wording you want to use.
Don't try.
Let me continue on with the motion. Is all in favor of voting on the resolution by affirmative signature provided to the secretary? Which means,
That'll be the motion.
Second.
There is a second. Is there any objection? Everybody understand what we're doing? If you, okay,
I don't understand what you're doing.
okay.
I'm not disagreeing, I just.
That's fine. We could take the vote by a show of hands. We could take the vote by affirmation like we just did a second ago. We could take the vote by a secret ballot. Those are several options. In this case, the idea is to put everybody's signature that's voting in favor of the resolution on the resolution saying, I agree with this resolution. Because what we just agreed to was to delete the word executive out of the bottom paragraph here where it says, first said, we the executive committee of the Republican Legislative District 14, et cetera, changing that to we the committee of the Republican Legislative District 14. In other words, this is going to be a resolution that is by the membership, not just by the executive committee. Okay? So now there's the discussion, there was the motion, there's a second, and now the discussion portion is, Del Dolly, did you have a discussion point?
Well, I just don't know if we need to do it by our single individual signatures, since we're speaking with a quorum as the committee.
Okay.
There's a lot of PCs that are not here today that I'm sure would love to be approached and asked if they would like to sign on to it. I'm sure many of them would, but they can't do so here today without their signatures.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to require signatures, that means you're going to have to go out to all of the DCs and solicit their signatures and the 50% voters. But that kind of opens that up.
That's not what I have in mind. Is there any further comment?
Yes.
In the back first.
Yes, I think I would like to ask for a clarification on the motion. Are you offering the opportunity for members to sign the resolution, or are you requiring that members sign the resolution?
Well, that's what we're talking about, and this is a matter of discussion. So we could. The motion is voting on the resolution by affirmative signature provided for the secretary. So if you don't want to do that, we'll take a vote on it, and if it gets voted down, then it won't happen. Does that clarify it?
I take that the only signature appearing would be that of the secretary. It says that action took place.
She says yes. I didn't understand the question, Tito.
I take that to mean that the only signature that would appear on the resolution would be that of the secretary, signifying that those present voted upon this.
As opposed to having individual signatures?
That's correct.
We could do it that way. Yes, Mr. Jones?
I voted in the affirmative to delete the executive, so as a supporter of that, I'd like to call for a reconsideration of that. I think it's unnecessary for us, as Del has said,